Thank you, everybody. We're going to talk today about compliance. Now, why do we care about compliance? Well, one reason is this is not a good look, ever. You don't want to have to, orange doesn't look good on most people. You don't want to ever be in a situation like this. So that's reason number one. But reason number two is that mandatory corporate compliance is coming. It's coming March of 2013, which is next year already, as part of the Affordable Care Act. And what this means is that there's a federally mandated corporate compliance program. This is different than anything we've had before. For example, surveyors might start wanting to go ahead and poke around in your compliance plan. We're not going to talk today about the 7 elements of a compliance plan. First of all, those rules aren't even final and we don't have time for it. What I want to talk about is how you do a culture of compliance, and that really will set the tone for everything you do. A little background on me. For the last 6.5 years, I've been working with hundreds of clients developing their online and their training and in-service programs as part of Upstairs Solutions. We've now merged with Care2Learn. Training is a big part of any corporate compliance plan, and so I've seen a lot of what it takes to be successful with compliance. Rule number 1, it starts at the top. A compliance program cannot be something that lives in a binder and sits on a shelf. The leaders of the organization have to not only talk the talk, they have to walk the walk and really show that this is part of our organization. Rule number 2 is this is not a good example of effective communication. It's not that the administrator, the executive director makes a decision and starts telling everyone what to do. You need to include all levels of your organization. You need to really hear what's going on. You almost need to think of it as if communication is an interdisciplinary function. And so that means when you're going ahead and you're putting your strategic planning sessions together and you're working on your QA initiatives, you have to have everyone at the table. Dietary, housekeeping, CNAs, nurses, everyone top to bottom needs to be part of that so that you can come to the best outcomes. Rule number 3 is we have to stop being reactive and start being proactive. We have to stop doing band-aid solutions, quick fixes, a problem pops up, what's the best way to solve it and move on? We have to stop doing that. And instead what we need to do is we have to start searching out and finding our own problems and identify them and being able to solve them. And that's a pretty good trick to do. You can't wait for your deficiencies to come up on your surveys. You can't wait for complaints. And so one way you can do this is something that's called root cause analysis. And root cause analysis means that when you're presented with a problem, you go ahead and you put some effort into it to figure out what is the source of this problem, and then you attack the source, not just whatever the symptom of the problem is. Let me introduce you to Sakichi Toyoda. He's the founder of Toyota Industries, and he invented a root cause analysis system that's called the 5 whys. And now 5 is not a magic number, but what it means is when you're presented with the problem, you keep asking why until you can get to the source, until you can get to the root cause of what's going on. So let me tell you how the 5 whys saved my family. I'd like to introduce you to my kids, our dog Biscuit, and my lawn. And so I decided this year that I was going to focus on my lawn. And I was going to have the best lawn I ever had. So what happens? Well, Biscuit starts tearing up the lawn. So now I've got a lawn full of holes, and I decide the dog has to go. My kids were not thrilled with this decision, as you can tell. In fact, I think they'd rather have kept the dog and gotten rid of me. So I said, okay, let's see if we can do this a different way. Let's use the 5 whys and try to figure it out. So why number 1? Why does my lawn look bad when I'm trying so hard to make it look good? Well, because I have a dog that's digging holes in the lawn. So let's ask the second why. Why number 2? Why is Biscuit digging up the lawn? Well, it turns out that we have moles. Biscuit doesn't like the moles, and so Biscuit goes ahead and attacks them, tearing up the lawn. Okay? Let's move on to why number 3. Why do I have moles in my lawn? Right? Turns out that I have grubs. The grubs are not normally as cute looking as they are in this picture, by the way. And the grubs are attracting the moles attracting Biscuit, and all of a sudden I have holes in my lawn. I haven't solved the problem yet. So let's go on to why number 4. Why do I have grubs in my lawn? Well, what happened this year is I switched to a new fertilizer. And this new fertilizer is attracting the grubs, which is attracting the moles, which is attracting Biscuit, who's digging holes in my lawn. So let's go one more why and see if we can get to the root cause of what happened here. Why did I switch to a new fertilizer? Well, I wanted to have a better looking lawn. But it turns out that by switching to the new fertilizer, I ended up causing all these problems. But that's great because now I have a solution. The solution is, let's go back to the old fertilizer. So if I switch back to the old fertilizer, my kids are happy, we get to keep Biscuit, my lawn looks great, and it was cheaper, so it saves me money. So it's a win-win all around. So this is a cute example, I think, anyway. But I think the key to take away from this is that this 5 whys and root cause analysis, it works, in this example, it worked in Toyota Motors, and it can work in the senior care industry as well. If you'd like to discuss whatever fertilizer is bothering you, I'm happy to discuss it afterwards. You can find me at the Care2Learn booth. We can talk about training, culture change, compliance, or anything else, lawn care. Thanks very much for listening.